Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to make a simple shaped card which I'm going to use as a New Year card. So I've got Canvas Workspace for computer, so the downloadable version, open here, and the first thing I'm going to do is come over to the left hand side to the text icon. I'm going to select it and then left click on the page to get the text box. I'm going to type in 2024 and hit enter. The font that I'm going to use is called Thick Jungle. So I'm just going to scroll down and find it. Now all the links to the fonts that I'm going to use for this project will be in the accompanying blog post on applelover53.co.uk. If you're watching this on YouTube, directly under the title of the video, you'll see the description, or you might see the start of the description, and it may see more or show more. Click on the words more and then the drop down box will open and there's a direct link to my website. Go to the blog and look for this blog post, and all the links for the two fonts that I'm going to be using will be in the accompanying blog post. So I've changed the font. Now the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come over to the right hand side. I'm on the second icon down, which is the properties. I'm going to untick maintain aspect ratio, and I'm going to size these numbers to 6 inches wide and hit enter, and then in the height 3.5 inches. With this still selected and I'm still under the edit properties tab, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to come down to where it says offset. I'm going to use a spacing of 0.16. I'm going to say outward. I can leave it on rounded because my text is, more rounded than angular. I'm going to say leave the original as it is because I don't want to get rid of this. I want to keep this to use it later. And then I'm going to make sure that this box here is ticked. Yours may be unticked by default, so just tick it, because basically I want the offset outline just around the outside of the numbers. So I'm going to say OK. So that's now given me an offset, and the offset is selected. So if I drag the box down here, you'll see. Now, because I've sized this to this specific size, and because I've used this specific size offset, this offset outline is automatically already kind of welded together. If any of your numbers are separated, you'll need to either make a bigger font or make a bigger offset. So that's why I'm giving you these specific measurements. Usually when I'm doing stuff like this, I'll say I'm going to size it to about or roughly, but I'm giving you the specific sizes for this specific font. So I'm just going to move that one out of the way for now and work with the bigger one, which is my offset. So again, if I scroll back up, I can see it's 6.31 wide. I'm going to come over to the basic shapes. I'm going to grab a rectangle. Again, still making sure that maintain aspect ratio is unticked. I'm going to make this 6.31 because that was the width of this. Hit enter on my keyboard. And then in the height, I'm going to say 1 inch. So now I'm going to bring this down and position it on the bottom of my numbers. Let me just see if I can zoom in to show you a bit better. So I'm going to select them both to start with. I'm still under this edit icon. I'm going to scroll back down, and under where it says align objects, I'm going to use the middle one on the top row, which is center. So that just centers them both together. Then I'm just going to left click anywhere on the page to deselect and select just the rectangle, and using the directional arrows on my keyboard, so the 4 directional arrows, just going to move this down a little bit more. I only want it to overlap slightly. So you should be able to see, if I zoom in here, it's overlapped. Okay, so now I'm going to select both of these, and then this time still under this same edit icon, down at the bottom where it says shapes, I'm going to choose the first icon which is weld. So that's now welded the 2024 to that rectangle. So now I'm going to select it. I'm going to right click and say duplicate, and that's going to give me a copy. And then with the duplicate selected, I'm going to scroll back up, still on this edit tab. I'm going to go where it says transform. I'm going to come to the far right icon which says vertical, and I'm going to left click and click that vertically. Now I can grab that and drag it up here. Again, just going to overlap them ever so slightly. I'm going to select both. I'm going to use this center objects again so that I know they're centered, and then I'm going to try and zoom in and show you that I've just got them barely overlapped. I don't want to overlap them too much because then you'll lose the definition of the tops of the numbers, but that looks okay to me. This one obviously is a little bit more overlap than the others. That's because of the shape of this particular number. This font is a bit of a kind of a quirky font. If you go to Creative Fabrica and you download it and install it on your computer and have a look at it, it's a kind of a bit whimsical. So I've got them both overlapped. I'm going to select both objects now, and I know I've got them both selected because I've got a blue bounding box around this one and around this one. They're already centered, but I can double check just in case I move them, but I didn't. So with them centered and with them ever so slightly overlapping just here on the middle, again, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to come to shapes and I'm going to hit weld. So now I'm just going to make my screen a little bit smaller and find my numbers. So this is going to be my base card, which I'm going to score across the middle and fold in half. And this is going to be my numbers, which I'm going to cut separately. Now, just so that you can see it better, hopefully, on the video, I'm just going to change the numbers to red. And just for clarification, because somebody always asks if I'm changing colours in my videos, where do you get the coloured pencils? I use an Apple Mac, and this is a Mac feature, okay? So your colour swatches may look different to mine. So I've changed those to red, and basically those numbers are going to be cut separately, and they're just going to sit on the front of the card like so. So if I come to my layers panel, which is the fourth icon down on the right, I'm just going to grab the text and move it up so that the layer is on top, just so that it's a bit easier for me to grab hold of while I'm doing the video. So now the next font I'm going to use is called Rainy Winter 2. Again, this will all be linked in the accompanying blog post. I'm going to come over to the text icon again on the left, select it, left click on the page, and I'm going to type Happy New Year and hit enter. Now obviously it's remembering the font that I've used here, so with it selected, I'm going to come up to the fonts, I'm going to scroll all the way down and find my Rainy Winter 2 font, okay? With this selected, I'm going to come over to the top left and I'm going to change this to draw. So when I click on the shape that's going to be the base card, you'll see it's a cut. When I click on the numbers, it's a cut. And when I click on Happy New Year, that's going to be a draw, because I'm going to use my pen in my ScanNCut machine to draw the words. Now again, I'm going to bring them down here and I'm just going to size them down to about 1/2 inch. So this time under the Edit tab, I'm going to make sure Maintain Aspect Ratio is selected. And in the height, I'm going to type 0.5 and enter. And that gives me a width of about 3.30. And I'm going to just pop that there. And then what I might do, I might use some stars or something just for a bit of an embellishment over here on the left-hand side. Again, you could, come into your shapes and come down and find a star. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet, so I'm not going to choose stars from here at the moment. I've got a nice star die, which I think is stitched. I might cut a couple of stitched stars from dies, I'm not sure. but you know, you could put anything on here. You could put flowers or whatever you want. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to choose the red number and take it out of the way. I know that my Happy New Year is set to draw and everything else is set to cut. I'm going to select these two items and I'm going to right click and make them a group. That way, when I bring this into my ScanNCut machine, if I want to move it around to position it on my cardstock or anything like that, it will stay together. And then basically all as I need to do is load up my piece of card. I can, you know, choose whether to draw the Happy New Year first or choose whether to cut the base card first, you know, and that I know that they're together. So I'm just going to position that there. And then the 2024 is just a cut file. So I'm just going to position that there. So that's my cut file ready to send over to the machine. So if you got a ScanNCut for Christmas, this would be, you know, a fairly easy tutorial for you to start with. Shape cards is kind of my thing. It's what I started doing when I got my very first electronic cutting machine, you know, probably about, I think I've been using them now maybe about 18, 19 years, something like, in fact, no longer. Yeah, about 19 years, I think. And that's what I used to do. I used to make shape cards for all kinds of occasions. So from here, the way that you get this to your machine now, if you've got Wi-Fi enabled on your ScanNCut machine, you need to go up to the very top of your page where it says File, and you come down to where it says Export Transfer, and you choose Transfer via the internet, and that will send your file over to your ScanNCut machine. When you put your machine on and you get the home screen, you'll see where it says Retrieve Data. You click on Retrieve, you click from Canvas, and this file will appear. If you don't have a Wi-Fi enabled machine and you want to save it on your computer to then drag it onto a USB flash drive, you would use Export FCM, give it a name, choose where to save it, and it will save your FCM, which is the ScanNCut file format, wherever you have nominated. Okay, so I'm just going to close those. For now, I'm going to send mine over wirelessly. So that's the card. So I'm probably not going to cut this one directly on camera, but I will, you'll see how it ends up looking in the thumbnail. I hope you'll give it a go. Please leave me a comment under the YouTube video letting me know if you're going to try it or if you made it. And I hope you found the video helpful. So if you are new to the ScanNCut and you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything to do so. Please hit the like button. Make sure when you've hit the subscribe button, you'll see a bell notification. Click on that and choose all, and that way anytime I go live or anytime I upload a video to my channel, you'll get notified, and that way you'll hopefully, you know, get more familiar with your ScanNCut machine and you'll learn something. So I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody who is already subscribed. Happy New Year to anybody that's finding this as the first video, and I look forward to bringing you more ScanNCut video projects throughout 2024. Thank you.